people didn't go out, and the crowd increased as the session went on. Why? Because he talked about how in such an interesting manner that how competitive coding was great and how it would help us. So after that point, things changed drastically, and there was a sudden rage and wave of coding. And he also came up with the Codeshala, his own classes, and people started going there. There were weekly assignments and all. But even those people who were not going to Codeshala, even they started coding because now they knew that what to do, how to start, and where to start from. So that all was great because at that time, but that's what we needed. Before that, there was no name on the map in any coding competitive coding site uh, of YMCA University. But after that, in within a 3 or 6 months span, I think YMCA was in top 10 in Hackers India institutes. Even so, more upper than some of the IITs and NITs, suffice to say. So that was a good thing. That change, that was a drastical change, and that coding culture change is still going on. I can see my juniors going through these coding questions and all. They are some of my juniors I see are 5 or 6 star at coding code chef. So that's a good thing. So I should want to proceed further with the session. That's about a little coding culture at my time and how I started coding and development. Yeah, and at that point I started the coding part. And actually I joined Codeshala at first, but then I left because I was not able to cope up with the timing and all. But continued in with my coding part because everyone else was doing it. And it was not like ship culture, but it was so great that everyone was doing it, not like following someone. It was great doing coding because it gathered our interest because we were solving problems at our time and all that. So yeah, it gathered our interest, and that's why all of us were coding. So yeah, next slide, I think. So that next part is skill development. I already discussed in brief about coding versus development. So there is no particular way in. So what you should choose at start. I'll just say that you have to clear the basics first. Either you go with coding or development. You have to clear out your basics of data structure. I'm not saying that you have to be master of them. I'm not saying that you have to do coding, competitive coding first, then only you can do development. I have many friends who were into development and all, and they just studied for the coding before interviews, only 3 4 months before the interviews. So that's also one of the things. And most of the people, for most of the people, it doesn't matter if you start with coding or development. You should go with your interest. And if your interest is in competitive coding and problem solving, then you should go for coding first, I think. And if you have an interest in developing some things like some softwares, if you are in an Android enthusiast or iOS enthusiast, so you can develop Android and iOS applications. Or if you're into web development, you can do web development also. So these kind of things. So these 3 points I'll be explaining. Skill development. The first thing is coding versus development. So first point I would like to say is clear your basics. Clear your basic means you know that even if you are doing coding or development, you have to use these data structures. You have to use these little algorithms at every point. You should know that when you are running a statement in for loop, and if you are running because a for loop has three statements: initialization, conditional statement, and increment decrement statement. So that conditional statement, what most of us do is when we are iterating an array, so what we do is we just call if I is less than or equal to array dot size. So that array dot size is called every time the conditional statement is checked. So these kind of things. So even if you're coding or if you're developing, you always want to optimize your code. So that conditional statement should be stored in a variable first, then it should be used in the for loop. So I think you most of you got that. I hope what I try to say here. So these kind of things. So if your basics are clear, if you know that you are writing the optimized code, whether it be coding or development, then you're good to go for the next part. whatever you choose. Second thing I would like to say is, since this session is about preparing for interview in a long term, so most of the people I've seen many people, many friends are there who had such a great coding skills, but they were not able to crack the interview because they did not have the great interpersonal skills required to handle things with the interviewer. They did not know that how to cope up with the pressure when you are in an interview. So they failed those interviews because of those things. Even after doing lot of great coding and development and all, they were not able to clear those interviews because they did not have these interpersonal skills required. So I will say that you need to be starting working on this right now. And because you are already a community, right? Because you know each other through this session, or you have your friends, so you can always be interactive with each other, right? So you could always hold sessions, not with some senior also, with yourself. So it's like when if you have explored interview bit site, you can see there that there's a mock interview section there. Why it is there? Because they know that you are coding right, right? So but to prepare for the interviews, you need to know that how a real interview would feel like, how you will cope under that pressure. So in that case, what they do is they basically match two persons, and at first the first person would take the interview of second person, then after 1 or 1.5 hours the second person would take the interview of first person, and after that they will share each other feedback. So how that helps is, because first of all you are feeling that how a real interview is like, although it is far from real interview, but you would get to know that how the pressure is when you are in an interview. So those kind of things, and the feedback is always good. Working on your feedback, working on your things that you are not great in, and working all polishing those skills which you have great, because the feedback is all not always negative, it is also positive. So if you get a positive feedback, work on that, polish on that, that you can shine more on it. So these kind of things. And not only this, the interpersonal skills helps, like how when you are in an interview, you can guide your own interview if you know that how to talk to that interviewer, because the interviewer who is interviewing you is not there to reject you, he is there to check your skills. And if he or she gets to know that you are great at these things, because if you are starting preparing for from now on, that means you are serious about this thing. That means by the time you get to your interviews, even if it is second year internship or fourth year final job placement, so after at that point you will be great in coding or development. So the thing is, what matters is, when the interviewer is getting to know you, you can always show him your best if you are great at your interpersonal skills. So that's one thing to work on, right? So we have covered that we need to clear our basics, then we need to work on interpersonal skills. And third thing is grabbing the opportunities. Grabbing opportunities always works. Let me tell you how. Actually, we never know that when we get an opportunity. If we are applying for internship or job, then we will be knowing that we have an opportunity coming our way. But sometimes, let's say a teacher approached you asking for a research project. You would say, you would think that it's a boring project or so. But if it is a research project, then you have one upper hand on your side, because when you implement that project, you can always ask teacher to write a paper or a research paper on that projects we have. And even though the teacher's name would be there, but you would get those papers on your resume, and that shines. I'm literally telling you, these kind of things shines on your resume, that you have worked on a research project and that you have research papers or journals also. So these kind of things work. Even also, you can work on, if you have great development skills, you think, in particular language also, or particular modules also, then you can also be in something kind of freelancing work also. From upwork.com or freelancer.com you can apply, or within your contacts if you know. So that's also good kind of thing. And most of above all that, because if you are doing coding, then there are so many coding contests going on, and the winner gets the prize. If you are into development, then you can always go through these hackathons. And then even, because if your idea is selected in a hackathon, you may not need to worry about getting a job. There are chances that your idea is so good that someone invested all their money, not all the money, someone invested all the money that you required for that idea to go to market. And before you even know that, you have ended your college, graduated, and there is a company, there's a startup of with yours name on that company. So that's the kind of thing. Always be open to grab those opportunities whenever you get them. So next thing is, I would just say, you have got that you need to be expert in the basics. You have got that you need to get working on your interpersonal skills. You know that you should always grab an opportunity when you take, but all that takes practice, a lot of practice. If even if you are going to coding, then you need to practice different questions, different set of data structures and algorithms. If you are doing development, then you need to start making projects, and not a great project as a start, because there are so many complex things in a project when you work on. So you have to start from small projects and start from the scratch, and then keep working on bigger and bigger and bigger projects. So this all takes a lot of practice. After that, the time management in the lockdown. So now you will be getting to that, like, we have time, and we know that need to learn basics, but what should we take, either coding or development? So three words I would like to say: analyze, design, decide, and practice. So first, analyze the various options you have. If you want to go to develop something, so like you have interest in this, or make a map, make a chart of all these things, write down these options, and keep eliminating them until or unless you have one or two options left, and then decide what would be great for you. What do you think would be great for you? If you are not so sure, then you can always come up with to your seniors. Yes, someone said anything.
Nothing, sir. Please continue.
Okay, okay. So the first thing is, you have to analyze your various options. You can narrow down into 2 to 3 options. Then if you are stuck at that point, you can always take guidance from your seniors, and you can always discuss with your friends, and you will be coming up with an option that you feel good about, and then you can pursue that option. Second, decide where to start. If you are into coding, then decide, because you will have multiple and various platforms to start onto. Because at first, if you are good at learning from YouTube tutorials, then you need to find a great YouTube tutorial or a course on Audacity and Coursera or something. If you are great on learning from books, then you need to know that which book to start from, either Corman or Karumanchi. If you are great at working from websites and learning on your own, then you have these different platforms as a beginner, like HackerRank also. So decide where you are going to start, and after that, do some practice. When you started, practice and learn those concepts, then practice more with some various questions, new questions, and take part in this coding tests and all. Competitive programming is a great way to get yourself better at competitive programming and coding. But if you are into development, then where should you start? Which language should you learn? Because the most common languages right now are Python and Java and C++, and then there is web development, right? Blockchain is coming up right now, cloud development is there. But all these things, if you are into web development, so there was a question shared by one of you, from one of you. There was a question that, is web development a good thing to go through for the final interviews? Would it help? So I would like to clarify on that part. Web development is a good thing. I am not saying it's a bad thing. But if you only work on front end, if you only work on front end, you will be working on the UI part itself, and that's not also a bad thing. That's not what I'm trying to say. But if you are working on web development now, I would like to suggest that you also work on the backend part, because that backend part is all about logic. And at the end, when you are interviewing with a company, they want to know if you are good at logics, if you are good at understanding, and if you can cope up with their team and interact with their team. That's why they check your interpersonal skills. That's why they check your logic. That's why they ask coding questions. Because asking a coding questions in an interview, how that help interviewer is, they can know that you can interact and summarize the solution to that question in a good manner. They want to know that. That is the first part. And second thing is, they want to know that how you approach a problem, right? So that's the second part, that how your logistic thinking works. That's why even the biggest companies like uh, Google and Microsoft and Facebook, at first, at the earlier stages, they used to ask these puzzles and then aptitude questions and all. But now they have replaced all that with coding questions. Why? Because questions do all those work which are in the aptitude and logistic part in the puzzles. How? Because if you are doing a coding questions, and let's say they gave a coding question to you based on mathematical problem, so they will get to know that how you approach that mathematical problem. Then they will like to know that how you approach, take that mathematical problem solution approach and write it into a code. And third point is, they will like to know that how you explain that problem. How are your skills at explaining something. So these are the kind of things they want to see in a good candidate. So yeah, do some practice, then do some more. In development, if you want to start from if you want to do web development, then you can also always start with HTML and CSS and JavaScript. Then you can move on to frameworks such as MeanStack and MERNStack. There you will get to learn in the database management part, you will get to learn MongoDB and all. And in the backend side scripting part, you get to learn Node.js, which is a good language also. I have worked on some projects and it is a great language. It is easy and it is fast. You can always make synchronous and asynchronous things. And you will not be getting half of the words what I'm saying. But if you decide to go with Node.js and Mean or Monster, then you will know that what I'm talking about. And yeah, so if you are into web development, then you can do these things. If you are into Android development, you can learn Java or Kotlin, then go into Android development. If you are into software development in basic for Windows, you could always go with .NET or even Java or these languages. So if you have your options analyzed now, you will know what to go with, right? You will have those approaches and those fields narrowed down to one or two. Then you can always decide that which field you want to go with first. If you have two options, go with both, but at first go with one, then you can go to another option always. So that's the point. So what I will say is, analyze first, then decide where and how you will be starting, and then do the practice on that on your part. So the three questions: how to start coding, and how to get into development, and what fields are there which are in the most demand, and how to explore them. So let's dive into it. The first thing is how to start coding. First of all, pick a language, because to learn the basics, if you are not familiar with any coding language, it takes around 1 to 2 months or 3 months to get familiarized with the concepts of coding. But if you know a language first now, then you can always move on to another language within a month at max, right? Because you always know the basics, you just have to cope up with the syntax and some of the new libraries and concepts that are in the second language you are moving on to. So first of all, pick a language, and for the basics of coding, C or C++ and Python and Java are usually preferred. If you ask any senior that if they when they write a code for coding part, you will always hear on one of these three languages: C++, Java, or Python. People usually use C++ because they have STL, and there are not too many libraries like there are in Python, and you do not have to write too many boilerplate code like in Java. But there is an edge in Python and Java, because in online competitive environment, the online judges, they have set the memory and time limit more for these languages than C++ because it is a fast language already. So these kind of things usually work. So first of all, pick a language when you are starting coding. Then learn the basic data structures, arrays, then strings, then linked list, tag, and queue. Then learn the basic algorithms like two pointers, sorting techniques, all these things. And you can always learn these things from Hacker, HackerRank, or InterviewBit. InterviewBit can be started on both the stages. If you are already into coding and you have an interview coming up in 6 months or 2 months, you can revise through InterviewBit once if you have already done it. But if you are a beginner, then you can start with InterviewBit because it is a great platform, and there are some video tutorials on some of the concepts, and then you have those questions. If you are working on the question on array, normally on HackerOS or Geeks or LeetCode, you do not know which kind of question it is. But in InterviewBit, they have bucketed those questions into various further subcategories. Like in arrays, they have further sorted into two pointers, then sorting, then hashing, these kind of things. For strings, they have like substring searching, pattern searching, then sorting, then DP questions are also there. So these kind of things are there. So learn basic data structures. If you want to learn from these platforms, you always have these websites. If you want to learn from let's say book, some people love to learn from their books. So at beginner level, I would suggest the book is Narasimha Karumanchi, and I have added this in presentation, and I'll be sharing this presentation later on with the host, and they will share it with you. So Narasimha Karumanchi is a good book to start as a beginner. And if you want to go on advanced data structures and you want to learn deep into these even simple data structures, now there's always a book that is Coleman. It is like Bhagavad Gita for the coding and competitive coding part. So yes, now we have learned the basic data structures. We can always move along to learning different algorithms. Like if I take example of strings, so at this point I know that there are only 3 to 4 kind of questions in strings. First questions are basic ad hoc questions like palindrome, find a palindrome or all. The second kind of questions are based on pattern matching, like in the KMP and Robin Cup, if any of you guys know about, these are the algorithms for that part. Pattern searching, that is finding something in a string you are given. That is, and if you are given a pattern and you are given a string, so if you are having to find a pattern in that string, so there are different approaches and different questions that can be made from that part. KMP and Rabin Karp are used for that part. And third type of questions we can have in strings is about sorting. Like sorting in, there's a data structure called trie, and these trie data structures are dictionary based data structures. So when we insert some strings in them, they're all by default sorted in an alphabetical order, and we can get the strings in less time, although it takes a lot of memory. But we can always make any code and any data structure efficient if we know that the coding problem requires a particular part. So the fourth type of coding questions that are there in strings are of dynamic programming. So these are the 4 main bridges of learning string data structure. If you have done all these kind of 4 basic questions, now, then you can always work on your way up to the hardest problem in a string, because you know that there can be only these 4 kinds of problems in a string. So if you have basics clear, now, you can always go and move on to harder problems and harder and advanced data structures. So if you have learned these algorithms, then you can learn these advanced data structures. Normally, I would not say these are advanced data structure, but uh, they are like 2D linked lists. And I don't know if you know now linked list or not, but they are dynamic data structure, kind of like arrays, but there are too many differences between array and linked list based on dynamic approach and how to retrieve and search the values in them. So these kind of things are differ, but the trees are like 2D linked lists, and there can be different kind of trees. If you are talking about binary trees, then it is 2D linked list. If you are talking about n-ary trees, then it is a whole new level, because that's why they are called they're considered complex data structures, because normally we learn about 2D trees in our competitive level, but they are n-ary trees. There always can be, and that data structure gets complex in its own. And other data structure that is complex is graph. Although graphs, if you learn at basic level, are not so demanding, but as you move on to different algorithms and different questions and problems in graph, you will see that they are complex. But with a little and more practice, you can always do any question, right? So that's why I said practice and then practice more, because practice is what that will take you to that level, and then you can always test your skills. If you think that you have the basic and intermediate grasp on that these concepts, then you can always take part in these coding challenges that keep on happening on these websites such as CodeShift, and you can then go get better with code forces. If you are into coding, and if you are at an average and intermediate level, you can take part in these challenges on CodeShift, and the code forces will help you, because it is not like not similar to this hackering website, but it takes a different approach, and it is like a customized coding experience, and you will know if you start. And then there are some hard level problems at Spoj. Usually people do not do Spoj at beginner level, but as you go through with that intermediate level and you start to feel confidence in coding, then you can always start doing coding problems with Spoj. So next is how to get into development. So as at the start, I already told that you need to clear your basics, whether you are going for coding or development. So what we have to do here is we have to learn basics of a language of your interest. Then you can always you have to learn the basic data structures. If you are on time, then you can try learning these data structures from books or from online tutorials or platforms. Then if you want to learn in deep, then you can always do the coding part first and then development, and you can always take these things side by side also in parallel. But I would suggest, whenever you're giving time to something, give your 100% of it, right? That matters. And then let's learn the design patterns. Design patterns are helpful in development, because there are so many things when you are at corporate and industrial level. Why people always say, and teachers always say, and seniors always say that industrial training matters, because at that level you are developing the things which can be scaled to a very high level. Because at college level, we only make projects which are taking into consideration the number of students in the college or in the university, that is from 500 to 5,000. But when you're at industrial level, then you have to take care of your user base, which could reach billions of users. And that when you take into consideration that amount of number of users, you will know that you have to design your solutions so efficient that it does not crash, it does not give up when there's a load on the system, it does not fall to that stress, right? So these design patterns are helpful in writing a beautiful code. Beautiful in the sense that whenever someone reads your code, they can understand it very well. Then these design patterns always help you write the efficient code. And third point is, these design patterns are followed worldwide in industrial coding. So it is good to learn that at this stage, because if you know at this point now, then when you are into coding after 1 or 2 years, development after 1 or 2 years, you will get to know that this is the thing that people learn at when they get into companies, and I already know all these things. So you will be having benefit from that part. So You could always try and take the, if you are short on time, then you can always learn just the basic of design patterns, and there is someone tutorials point, or you will have little videos on YouTube. But I will suggest you a book, Design Patterns by Richard Hell. So it is a great book, and if you are into development, be sure to read this book out first. Then develop small projects, small scale projects. And by that I mean, whenever you learn a new language or a new concept, always try to make a POC, proof of concept. That means you have learned this language and you know the basics of this language. And then you could always go to your teachers for research projects and university projects. And some of the times even um, third party universities are there which can even pay you for making those projects. So these all work out, right? And after you have that confidence that you are developing projects now, and you can move on to big scale projects, then you can always apply for freelancing or internship work. Because if your resume looks good, any internship, any company would be lucky to have you for your talent, right? So if your resume looks good and you are into development, you can always apply for internship work. Even if not, if you don't want to do internship, and if you do not have the time to do a full-time internship, you could always go on to freelancing. And by that I means you could register on Upwork also. And not only from campus internship placement, there's always option, and that option is Google Summer of Code. It is a widely known for little 2 months internships, summer internships, would you say? And in that case, what happens is GSOC basically kinds of gives you an edge when you participate and you get into some of these things, and you work on these open source projects. Then that reflects on your resume too well. And there are some companies which want to give you full-time opportunity. There are some which are in outer countries. They may want you to come there. They may want you to work from remote, but giving you the same salary which are being given to the US or Europe candidates. So that's always good work. So you could always apply for GSOC, and you could find more about it. When you Google GSOC, you will be getting all the details you need. So next is fields to explore. I have been giving much the pressure on following your interest and passion, because I know for a fact that when I tried out things which I did not want to do, like actually I always wanted to go into Android development, and once or twice I started doing web development, but I couldn't get my interest into it. So it is simple as that. If you cannot get your interest into something, you would always drop it, even if it is a day or a week or a month. But you will drop it. I don't know. I will not say that I do not know web development. I do know web development. I can make a project if needed, but I do not want to generally. So that is the kind of thing I would say. So follow interest and passion, okay? And there will always be demand for software engineer or an analyst or an architect. So do not worry about how this recession thing is going on, or this lockdown or pandemic will work out, because software engineers can always work remotely, and software engineers will always be in demand, because as we increase technology, softwares will be a part of our life. And if even if you are a C developer, or if you are a cloud developer, or blockchain distributed system developer, or machine learning engineer, if you know the software engineering partner, if you know how to develop and code, you can always move to any field. But there will always be demand for the software engineer, whatever field it is. So the most common explored fields as a new starter are web development, Android, and machine learning. So web development is an easy kickstart, because most of us know HTML and CSS from computer classes in school time. So we can get our hands dirty in web development first. If we like it, then we can continue. Uh, we can learn on the different stacks, that is mean stack and merge stack. If not, then we can always move on to new technology. Like we can try working on Android part, or we can make a few projects on machine learning, because machine learning is easy and difficult at the same time, because the coding part in machine learning is easy, but the thinking and analyzing analysis part is based on statistics and maths. So that part is where some of you will get interested in. So you may want to go into machine learning, but some of you may not want to do that and want to do straight on coding and development. Then you can always go for web and Android development. Next is question and answer session. I would like to be open and ask the questions one on one. I think we are already into session for more than around 45 minutes. So if any of you guys have...
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Gunpreet sir. So anyone who would like to ask any question can raise his or her hand so that we can unmute you accordingly. So if anyone has any questions, you can raise your hand. Okay, we have one question, Avinash.
Hello, sir. I want to ask about आपका वो कैसे वो सैमसंग में अभी आप वर्क कर रहे हो, तो वहाँ पे आपका लैंग्वेज वगैरह कौन कौन सी अभी यूज होती है, ये पूछना था. वर्क एक्सपीरियंस वहाँ पे कैसा है?
Hello, are you able to hear me, Avinash?
Yes, sir. Sir, you are audible.
Okay. So actually the mic was muted and I was unable to mute it. So the thing is, Samsung में different technologies are there. I have many friends in Samsung and my seniors are also there, colleagues are there. So different people are working on different technologies. So because the Samsung Noida is more about mobile development, so basically two parts are there. If I categorize, तो यार दो चीजें हैं. One is framework development, one is application part development. Framework में it is more about because it is mostly on Android part, so it is framework में it is more about C and Java and Kotlin, and जो हमारा क्या कहते हैं application part है, that is about more about Java and Kotlin. And if we are implementing some new features, then we may work on different languages. For example, as my internship project, I made a machine learning model that was a classifier. I cannot give you what the idea was, but उस time पे I even didn't know machine learning and Python. I learned at that point and I implemented the code, and then Python model which I made was implemented into the Android project. So mostly it is Android, but when we are working on the framework side, then it is C language, because C and C++ and the pointers, they are used in framework part. And the new research projects are always there, and for that there is machine learning. And for machine learning, mostly the Python language is used in Samsung, not R. I don't know why. और जो बाकी की जो वेब डेवलपमेंट रिक्वायर्ड होती है ना इन डिफरेंट, फॉर एग्जांपल इन सैमसंग ब्राउजर, that is an application, or in different applications, so we need JavaScript and all. So these are the kind of skills the Samsung requires. Basically जब तुम as a fresher Samsung में इंटरव्यू दे रहे होगे ना, so they would not be asking you that you need to be having knowledge of all these development and tech stack. They just want that you have made one or two projects so that you know how to develop some software, and they just want you to have a little to moderate knowledge in coding and skills. So they want to know how logistic thinking your thinking is, and they want to know that you have a development experience. So it is not too hard getting into Samsung as a fresher from college campus, of course. And for that you just need because they just take a test that is mostly based on graph questions and dynamic programming, and that too they are not hard at level. They are not that hard. And that can easily be done with some practice. And after that, the interviewers are mostly on coding part, and one of the interview is on projects and all. So the the question you faced is which technology stack is being used in Samsung. So this is mostly Android and Java and C and C++ and Python. And there are some scripts running which are also being run in Python. We can use some frameworks such as Selenium for web browser crawling and Robot framework for Android. So these kind of technologies mostly. Any other question?
Hello.
Scorpions guys, do you have a question?
Yes, sir. Hello.
Hello. Yep, Prajwal. Who
Hello.
is-
Hello. Good evening, sir.
Yeah, good evening. Who is this?
सर राहुल.
Yeah, Rahul. Hi.
हाँ सर, मेरा ये क्वेश्चन था कि मैंने ज़्यादातर देखा है कि बच्चे जो कॉम्पिटिटिव कोडिंग करते हैं या डाटा स्ट्रक्चर्स एल्गोरिथम्स पार्ट करते हैं, वो मोस्टली सी प्लस प्लस लैंग्वेज ही प्रेफर करते हैं. और सर
Yeah.
मैंने ये जावा से शुरू कर रखा है, तो इसी बारे में पूछना था मेरे को.
यार मैं तुम्हें एक चीज बताता हूँ. मोस्टली C++ क्यों होती है, मैंने इसका रीजन ब्रीफ में तो बताया था. बट द थिंग इज C++ क्यों यूज करते हैं, बिकॉज C++ में स्टैंडर्ड लाइब्रेरी STL पैकेज है, स्टैंडर्ड टेम्पलेट लाइब्रेरी, विच इज नॉट टू मच. जैसे कि पाइथन में क्या होता है, दे आर इनबिल्ट फंक्शंस फॉर एवरीथिंग. तो क्या होता है बेसिकली, व्हेन यू आर कोडिंग ना, तो यू गेट दिस इनबिल्ट फंक्शंस एंड यू जस्ट कॉल दिस फंक्शंस, और तुम्हारा 5 to 6 लाइंस में कोड का आंसर भी आ जाता है. बट यू डू नॉट रियली नो द कोड बिहाइंड. तो दैट इज द पार्ट इन पाइथन. तो कुछ लोग ये चीज प्रेफर भी करते हैं कि दे डू नॉट हैव टू राइट द कोड. बट समटाइम्स व्हेन यू आर अ बिगिनर एंड यू स्किप दिस थिंग्स, तो बाद में these things matter. बट इन C++ लैंग्वेज, क्योंकि तुम्हारे पास STL पैकेज जो है ना, that is mostly into data structure implementation and not algorithm implementation. उसमें different algorithms implemented नहीं है. मतलब कुछ basic algorithms हैं such as sorting, ठीक है, बट जो बाकी के algorithms हैं पाइथन में काफी चीजें implemented, प्री implemented मिलेंगी तुम्हें. और जो जावा लैंग्वेज है उसमें मोस्टली पीपल प्रेफर क्यों नहीं करते, उसमें STL पैकेज तो है which is even better than C++, बट उसमें ना जो कोड हो जाता है ना, वो कोड बहुत लेंथी हो जाता है. सो दैट इज व्हाई पीपल डू नॉट प्रेफर टू डू कोड इन जावा. बट जावा का प्लस पॉइंट है जावा एंड पाइथन का, वो ये है कि व्हेन यू आर राइटिंग अ कोड इन जावा ऑन ऑनलाइन प्लेटफॉर्म्स, तो you always get more memory limit and more time limit than C++ code. ठीक है, अगर C++ में 1 सेकंड है तो तुम्हें टाइम लिमिट 4 सेकंड मिलेगी. सिमिलरली अगर मेमोरी में भी 2 MB है तो तुम्हें 4 MB या 8 MB मिलेगा. सो दीज काइंड ऑफ थिंग्स आर बेनिफिशियल. बट C++ मोस्टली लोग क्यों प्रेफर करते हैं, बिकॉज इफ यू आर स्टक इनटू अ क्वेश्चन, ठीक है, तुम सॉल्यूशन फाइंड आउट करते हो, यू सर्च ऑन Geeks for Geeks या कहीं भी तुमने सर्च किया ऑनलाइन प्लेटफॉर्म पे, and you find that questions. So most of the problems जो होते हैं ना, उनका जो solution होता है वो C++ में मिलेगा तुम्हें ऑनलाइन प्लेटफॉर्म पे. और कुछ जगह ऐसा भी होगा कि किसी प्रॉब्लम का solution तुम्हें जावा में मिले ही ना. So that is also one thing. So be prepared for that part अगर तुम जावा में करना चाहते हो. So that's it. मतलब C++ I personally preferred C++ for coding, but Java is also good and Python is equally the same. So it is not like कि कोई language ज़्यादा better है. It is how you fit in. तुम्हें जो सी चीज ज़्यादा सही लग रही है, because हर एक language का अपने perks हैं और कुछ quirks हैं. तो जो quirks हैं वो तुम्हें neglect भी करने पड़ेंगे, जो perks है वो तुम्हें मिलेंगे तो तुम्हें accept भी करने पड़ेंगे. So these are the things. Any other question? Any other question, you guys?
Yes, sir. I have a question, sir. हम जनरली जैसे यूनिवर्सिटी जो हमें पढ़ाती है करते हैं, हम उस पर बेस्ड जॉब्स लगाते हैं, लेकिन मैं जान चाहता हूँ YMCA का जो सिलेबस है, करिकुलम है, क्या वो काफी है सर सैमसंग या किसी अच्छी कंपनी में जॉब लेने के लिए?
यार लेट मी टेल यू वन थिंग, जब भी तुम करिकुलम की पढ़ाई कर रहे होगे ना, यू विल नॉट बी गोइंग दैट डीप, बिकॉज जो हमारी बुक्स हैं फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल वो उस लेवल की नहीं है. वी आर नॉट रीडिंग नरसिम्हा करुमंची डेटा स्ट्रक्चर्स बुक और कोरमैन एज डेटा स्ट्रक्चर्स बुक, ठीक है, जब हमारा डेटा स्ट्रक्चर सब्जेक्ट आता है. या फिर वेन एवर यू आर रीडिंग डेटाबेस, तो हमें यूजली सीक्वल डेटाबेस पढ़ा के भेज दिया जाता है. वी आर नॉट इवन टोट नो सीक्वल डेटाबेस, ठीक है. एंड दीज काइंड ऑफ थिंग्स मैटर, बिकॉज अगर हमारा करिकुलम जो है ना, एकेडमिक्स करिकुलम है, वो पिछले 5 to 10 years में अपडेट नहीं हुआ है. बहुत लिटिल अपडेशन हुई है, ठीक है. एंड इफ यू कंपेयर इट विद करिकुलम ऑफ कॉलेजेस सच एज ट्रिपल आईआईटीज और एनआईटीज और आईआईटीज, ठीक है, तो यू विल सी अ लॉट ऑफ डिफरेंस देयर. मतलब आई हैड माय फ्रेंड्स इन डिफरेंट कॉलेजेस, एंड one of the friends usually used to talk about academics and all. So first semester में they learned Python language, and they did web development on Flask, right? और हमें फर्स्ट सेमेस्टर तक कुछ पता भी नहीं था कोडिंग होती क्या है. Then at second semester we learned C, and they already learned C, C++ and data structures. तो आई वुड लाइक टू से कि मतलब जो YMC का करिकुलम है ना, वो काफी लिमिटेड रहता है. एंड वेन एवर यू स्टडी दैट करिकुलम ना, तो वो तुम एग्जाम पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से ही पढ़ते हो मोस्टली, ठीक है, बिकॉज टीचर्स विल रिकमेंड यू सम बुक, एंड बिकॉज यू वांट टू गेट मार्क्स इन दैट सब्जेक्ट, सो यू विल हैव टू रीड फ्रॉम दैट बुक ऑल इवन. क्योंकि अगर बाद में पेपर चेक होते हैं एंड you do not get the marks and you go to teacher, तो teacher would like to say कि मैंने तो यार जो नोट्स में लिखवाया है या जो मैंने तुम्हें बुक रिकमेंड की थी उसमें ऐसे लिखा हुआ है, तो मैं तो यही मानूंगी. एंड दिस हैपेंस मेनी टाइम्स. सो आई वुड लाइक टू से दैट गेट आउट ऑफ दैट करिकुलम, बिकॉज एग्जाम्स टाइम पे मतलब जो तुम्हें पढ़ना होता है ना करिकुलम है, वो तुम एग्जाम से एक हफ्ते पहले भी पढ़ लेते हो ना, या 2 हफ्ते पहले भी मतलब पढ़ना स्टार्ट कर लेते हो, देन यू कैन स्कोर प्रीटी गुड इन एग्जाम्स. बस तुम्हें क्लास में अटेंटिव रहना है. दैट आफ्टर 9 to 5 तुम अगर 1-2 घंटे बाहर घूमते भी हो, किसी क्लब में भी हो, इवन इफ यू गेट अराउंड 7 to 8, ठीक है, इन द हॉस्टल और एट योर फ्लैट बैक, उसके बाद भी तुम्हारे पास डिनर करने के बाद भी तुम्हारे पास 3 से 4 घंटे होते हैं रोज के, ठीक है. एंड 3 to 4 hours is more than enough, way more than enough. If you even give 1 hour na, you have so much time. Even if you give 1 hour daily na, you will be able to achieve so much more than the people who started coding in, let's say, 7th semester for the interviews only. So this is the thing I would like to say कि curriculum के साथ साथ कुछ कुछ चीजें एक्सप्लोर करते रहो, अपने इंटरेस्ट एक्सप्लोर करो, ठीक है. इट शुड नॉट ओनली बी कोडिंग एंड डेवलपमेंट, ठीक है. सिर्फ स्टडीज नहीं है, तुम्हारे पास 3-4 घंटे हैं, 4 घंटे में तुम 1 घंटा कोडिंग या डेवलपमेंट कर लो, ठीक है. तुम्हारा इंटरेस्ट लेट्स से म्यूजिक में है, तुम किसी क्लब में तरन्नुम क्लब में चले गए, या एक्टिंग में है विविधा में चले गए, फोटोग्राफी डिजाइनिंग में झलक में चले गए, तो यू कैन एक्सप्लोर दैट इंटरेस्ट एज वेल, ठीक है. बिकॉज एट आफ्टर फर्स्ट ईयर अभी भी तुम्हारे पास मोर देन 2 years है, ठीक है, और विच इज वे मच मोर देन वी हैड एट आवर टाइम. तो एक्सप्लोर करो जितना एक्सप्लोर कर सकते हो, और करिकुलम जो है वो तुम्हारा एग्जाम्स में पढ़ा जाएगा, बस क्लास में अटेंटिव रहो, ठीक है. You will be remembering those things if you study 1 or 2 weeks before the exam. A group study is always better. कॉलेज टाइम पे तो आई वुड रिकमेंड, ठीक है, बहुत जल्दी सिलेबस खत्म होता है, हम लोगों ने किया है. तो दैट्स इट. आई होप योर क्वेश्चन वाज आंसर्ड. एनी अदर क्वेश्चन?
क्वेश्चन. हेलो
हेलो
सर, एक लास्ट क्वेश्चन.
ओके.
सर जैसे थर्ड ईयर में हमारी इंटर्नशिप लगती है, तो उससे पहले हमें मतलब कितना डीएस से कब तक करना है, और उसके बाद हमें डेवलपमेंट पार्ट कब से स्टार्ट करना है?
मैं यार ये कहूंगा कि अगर तुम्हारा मन है कि तुम्हें पहले डेटा स्ट्रक्चर्स करने हैं, तो वंस यू आर फेमिलियर विद डेटा स्ट्रक्चर्स, ठीक है, once you are confident that you can do basic to moderate questions, then you can either move up to advanced data structures or you could move up to development part. तुम्हारी मर्जी है उस टाइम पे तुम्हें जो करने का मन हो. If you are moving up to coding, then डू इट इन सच अ वे कि तुम्हारे पास एक कॉन्फिडेंस हो दैट यू कैन डू एनी क्वेश्चन, भले ही इसमें थोड़ा टाइम लग जाए, ठीक है, विच कैन बी इम्प्रूव लेटर ऑन एट, मतलब तुम एक पर्टिकुलर लेवल पे जब तुम पहुंच जाओगे ना कि इफ आई एम गिवन एनी क्वेश्चन दैट आई कैन डू इट, टाइम लग जाए या फिर टाइम कॉम्प्लेक्सिटी, सॉल्यूशन एफिशिएंसी अभी मैटर नहीं करती, बट आई कैन डू एनी क्वेश्चन आइदर ब्रूट फोर्स और सम गुड कर सकते हो, आइदर टू कॉम्पिटिटिव प्रोग्रामिंग और टू डेवलपमेंट, ठीक है। और ये कोई टाइम मैटर नहीं करता, इट कैन टेक 1 मंथ, इट कैन टेक 3 मंथ्स, इट कैन टेक 6 मंथ्स, ठीक है। और फिर जब तुम कॉम्पिटिटिव कोडिंग कर रहे हो ना, लेट्स से यू आर इनटू कॉम्पिटिटिव कोडिंग, तो वो तुम्हें हर रोज नहीं करनी होती है, देयर आर कोडिंग चैलेंजेस एंड दैट ऑल, जो कि तुम वीकेंड्स पे कर सकते हो सिर्फ, या फिर तुम वीक के 2 दिन कर सकते हो, एंड यू कैन पैरेलली डू डेवलपमेंट, यू कैन स्टार्ट डेवलपमेंट एट पैरेलली, ठीक है। वो 3-4 महीने बाद यू विल गेट यूज्ड टू इट इफ यू हैव इट, मतलब तुमने अगर मेंटेन कर लेना उस हॉबी को अगर एक बार, तो यू विल ऑलवेज फाइंड टाइम अपार्ट फ्रॉम दैट, बिकॉज वो तो तुम्हारा हॉबी में ऐड हो ही जाएगा कि अगर तुम डेली 2 to 3 क्वेश्चंस कर रहे हो या 2 क्वेश्चंस भी कर रहे हो, अगर एक वीक के तुम 10 क्वेश्चंस भी कर रहे हो ना, देन अगर तुम्हारी ये हैबिट है, अगर तुम्हें वीकली 10 क्वेश्चंस करने हैं, तुमने लेट्स से अपना शेड्यूल बना लिया, तो दैट हैबिट इज गुड इनफ, और तुम्हारी अगर वो हैबिट बन जाएगी ना, तो विल ऑलवेज फाइंड टाइम आफ्टर दोस 10 क्वेश्चंस, तुम्हारे पास उसके बाद भी वीक में अराउंड 10 आवर्स होंगे इंक्लूडिंग वीकेंड्स, 10 to 15 आवर्स, उसमें तुम 10 to 15 आवर्स में यू कैन वर्क ऑन एनीथिंग यू वांट, ठीक है। इफ यू वांट टू वर्क ऑन डेवलपमेंट, यू कैन वर्क ऑन डेवलपमेंट, जस्ट मेक श्योर कि जब तुम किसी इंटर्नशिप के लिए जा रहे हो, तुम्हारे पास कुछ डेवलपमेंट का प्रीवियस एक्सपीरियंस हो, खुद का ही, लेट्स से अगर प्रीवियस इंटर्नशिप एक्सपीरियंस नहीं लेकिन खुद का एक्सपीरियंस भी है तो वो भी चलता है, so that's the main thing, ठीक है। और कोडिंग part is required to clear the interviews mostly, ठीक है, because they want to check your logistic thinking. Any other question you guys?
हेलो सर, गुड इवनिंग।
Good evening.
सर माय नेम इज आशीष। सर मैं ये पूछना चाह रहा था कि सैमसंग में वर्क कल्चर कैसा है, और सैमसंग में जॉब करने के क्या क्या पर्क्स है, और कितनी मतलब इन हैंड सैलरी होती है।
ओके, तो यार सबसे पहले तो वर्क कल्चर की अगर बात करते हैं तो यार दे आर डिफरेंट टीम्स, ठीक है। सैमसंग में मोस्टली क्या होता है कि ना हेडक्वार्टर्स के साथ डायरेक्टली लिंक्ड रहते हैं हम लोग, which is in Korea, and most of the initial development, core development is in Korea, ठीक है। तो sometimes we get to go on business trip there, ठीक है, तो वहाँ पे हमें जाने के लिए ऑन साइट मिल जाती है, वीक 1 week 2 week 3 weeks, ठीक है। बट मोस्ट ऑफ द कोर डेवलपमेंट इज देयर, इवन इफ लेट्स से यू कम अप विद एन आइडिया ना, मतलब ठीक है, रिसर्च मतलब रिसर्च एंड रिसर्च पेपर्स एंड ऑल दिस के तुम्हें बहुत ज्यादा मोटिवेट किया जाता है, तो लेट्स से यू कम अप विद एन आइडिया, ठीक है, एंड दैट आइडिया इज गुड, तुम्हारा मैनेजर, तुम्हारा ग्रुप लीडर तुम्हारे इस आइडिया से इंप्रेस है, तुमने उसका एक पीओसी बना दिया, देन दैट आइडिया विल गो टू कोरिया हेडक्वार्टर्स, ठीक है, एंड फिर तुम्हें वहां बुला सकते हैं, मतलब बुला लिया जाएगा वहां पे कि लेट्स डू द डेवलपमेंट, ठीक है, फाइनल डेवलपमेंट which so that this feature can be released later on. तो these kind of things are there. और कुछ टीम्स, मतलब बहुत डिफरेंट वैरायटी ऑफ टीम्स हैं, कुछ टीम्स ऐसी हैं जिसमें लेट्स से इश्यूज आते हैं ज्यादा, ठीक है, डेवलपमेंट वर्क कम है, कोड डेवलपमेंट वर्क कम है। कुछ टीम्स ऐसी हैं जो सिर्फ और सिर्फ कोड डेवलपमेंट में काम करती हैं, इश्यूज पे बहुत रेयरली ही काम करती हैं। कुछ टीम्स में मिक्स्ड बैग है दोनों चीजों का, तो ये चीजें रहती हैं, ठीक है। किसी टीम में काम बहुत ज्यादा होता है, किसी टीम में काम कभी कभी बहुत ज्यादा होता है, नहीं तो नॉर्मल रहता है, किसी टीम में काम कम भी होता है। सो वर्क कल्चर अगर तुम सिर्फ सैमसंग के अंदर की बात करते हो तो इट इज गुड, अगर तुम वर्क लाइफ बैलेंस की बात करते हो तो वो काफी अच्छी है, बिकॉज यू हैव दिस 9 to 5 जॉब, ठीक है। उसके बाद तुम्हें वरी करने की जरूरत नहीं है कि अगर मैं घर आ चुका हूँ और अगर कुछ काम था तो तुम्हें बुलाया नहीं जाएगा वापस ऑफिस, ना ही तुम्हें ये कहा जाएगा कि तुम लैपटॉप खोल के बैठ जाओ, भी काम करके देना है। मे बी तुम्हें अगर तुम ऑफिस से अभी तक नहीं निकले हो और तुम्हारा मैनेजर कहता है कि ये चीज इंपॉर्टेंट है, कल हमें डिलीवर करनी है, तो मे बी यू लेट्स से होल्ड योरसेल्फ बैक फॉर 2 hours, ठीक है, 5 से लेट्स से तुम उसको एक्सटेंड कर सकते हो 7 या 8 तक, एंड दिस इज मतलब नॉट सो कॉमन, ठीक है, कभी कभी होता है ऐसा। तो वर्क कल्चर अच्छा है, एंड वर्क लाइफ बैलेंस काफी अच्छा है, ठीक है। और जो सैलरी की बात कर रहे हो तुम, नॉर्मली इट इज नॉट
Yes, sir.
टू बी डिस्क्लोज, बट यार डिफरेंट सैलरीज, ठीक है। मतलब जो हमारे सीनियर्स थे उनकी सैलरीज हमसे कम थी, ठीक है। जब हमने ज्वाइन किया था तो हमारा पैकेज उनसे ज्यादा था। जो हमारे जूनियर्स हैं उनका पैकेज हमसे ज्यादा है। तो आई डोंट नो अबाउट थिंग, बट अराउंड मतलब सबको जो जूनियर्स फ्रेशर्स होते हैं, ठीक है, इंटर्नशिप के टाइम पे अराउंड 30-35,000 पर मंथ मिल जाते हैं, एंड आफ्टर दैट ज्वाइनिंग के टाइम पे 60-65,000 मिल जाते हैं। तो इट्स लाइक दैट पर मंथ।
Okay, sir. Thank you.